Hi, this is Michael May of Royal Shell Real Estate. Today is Friday, March 6th. I'm at Barefoot Beach right now. I'm going to be previewing a property for a client he's interested. I'm meeting an engineer there who wants to, we want to discuss what the modification possibilities are of the existing dockage and what restrictions there are in this area in terms of conservation and horticulture. So stand by, let's go take a look with this engineer. The guy's name is Frank Gore from Nelson Marine.
Dock. This is a great dock. This is all Brazilian hardwood. Okay, it's Ipe, and man, we could pressure clean this and coat it with this stuff called paraffin, and it would come out kind of its natural red color. It'd be beautiful.
Okay.
20,000 pound boat lift.
It is a 20,000.
It's
okay.
a 20, and it's the slip is set up. You could put up to a 40-footer in here.
Okay.
Not any problem at all.
Just the way it sits, 40-foot boat.
Just the way it sits. Yeah.
Now, how do we measure what the requirements are? Is there any chance of us going any further?
You probably could install another boat lift on the outside.
Could
That's
or could not?
It could.
Okay.
Because this has a variance with it already.
The house has the variance.
Yes, this is way out farther than 20 feet already.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're this is a really nice spot over here, and you can see even too the diameter of these pilings. Look
Yeah.
at the thing. That's huge.
Yeah.
And they're just trees, so sometimes they're irregular. But this particular one, all of the pilings are 10-inch and above.
Okay.
So it's a really good setup. It's got a little bit of age to it, but it's really
It's
in great shape.
Good. Good. How old is it?
I don't know. I'll have a file on it back at the office.
Okay.
I'd say it's probably about 10, maybe 10 years old. Maybe less though.
Yeah.
But it really could be brought back to looking gorgeous. Put some chrome caps on these.
Cone caps. Yeah.
Because it really do need to be protected. You can see some of them are starting to crack apart at the top and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other thing about this is extremely deep water over here. That's why we got X bracing out on the ends.
Okay.
Because the dock is wobbly out there because the pilings are so long.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not only is that on there, it's we put that on there too. It's just some big timbers, Sheep's head.
Right there. Beautiful.
Yeah, this is a great spot.
Beautiful sheep's head. So how deep do you think the water is right here? Well,
Let's go over and check it out over here.
I tell you, we were talking about 13 feet when we were on the boat.
Now, see, this was set up for two lifts. See
Oh
the
my
opposing
gosh.
two lift pilings right there?
Oh.
So the lift piling is already there. You can come over and install a small boat lift here right now.
Okay.
But you'd have to get all this stuff trimmed out and everything so that you could get to it. And there's not a whole ton of water depth in there. So, if they'll let us do something out there, if he wants a second boat lift, he'd be better out there.
Okay, good, good.
We just cut these off down at dock height where all
Okay.
the rest of them are and get a uniform.
So this was pre-engineered for another boat dock to be placed right here.
Correct.
With the pilings are already in.
Right, they're already in proper spacing and all that kind of stuff. And there's things we can do about this depth. There's an angle cradle that can go over to that side, stuff like that. You can even set this up by putting a lift in it, and instead of the cradle being like this, you can put an actual platform on this cradle. You
Okay.
can build it out of this E-peg because it's so dense it sinks.
Yep.
You could build that, and then that's what you do. You hit your remote control and you lower that platform down in the water.
Right.
Paddle your kayak right up on there and pick yourself out of the water. I mean, there's no better way to do it.
Is there anything crazy to think about? Can you put 3 in? Could you put this one existing and then get that variance to go further out?
You're normally only allowed 2 boat slips per residential lot.
Okay.
So not likely that we could put a third lift in.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what about this free space that's over here? That intrigued me too, because I was wondering, that since that's part of his land, what could we do to extend this out or to have a boat come in from another angle?
Yeah, well, if it were mine, this is where I'd put the second lift.
Good.
Because that's the thing in this area. You want to have your one big boat, and then the small one that you and the wife, whatever, can just head out and catch the sunset one night. It's not a huge hassle, unbuttoning all kinds of stuff, that you have with a big boat. So I'd put that over here where you pulled the straight in like that.
Yep.
And then you could just pull out and take off. And we probably could extend this to where we made a little walk around the second slip.
Okay. Would a variance be required, or since there's a variance in place?
Variance is done. So that variance will ride with this property forever.
Oh, wow.
So he's good to go on that.
So technically, he could take this one and extend it out and then populate this whole area in some sort of a configuration.
Yeah, they're going to have a square footage maximum, but that is actually in this area. It's a calculation of how much shoreline you have. So he's got a ton of shoreline. You know, I think there's a lot of stuff we can do here. You know, we have a lot of options, and all these. You know, we're great deep water back over here too.
Where you at?
It's about 8.5 feet right there. And that's unheard of. You're not going to have that unless you're like in Pelican Isle Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 10 feet right there.
Okay.
So, which is very valuable, you know, because you can see when you get to these big boat lifts that all this stuff has to sink. You know, all that's got to get under the water before your boat even touches the water.
Right.
You know, so you really need some water depth to operate these type of big lifts, and you got it here. This lift, I don't think it was ever even used.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, there's very little here that you would probably need to do to get it ready to accept a brand new boat.
Right. Talking about the vegetation here, and what do you think our limits would be in terms of, ideally, I think that they would love to have them chopped off, and you said within 6 feet, is that correct?
Yeah, I believe it is.
6 feet measured what, from the waterline?
Probably from the prop roots of the mangroves themselves, and you kind of see these hedges over here.
Yeah.
That's how they should be able to be trimmed. Like that.
So all of those over there potentially. So looking at from where the grade line is, on some of them they're only 2 or 3 feet above the grade for the house.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you'd be able to really increase your, and you could selectively leave some of the really adult big ones or something too, just for privacy and stuff like that. But you could really open it up where it really got a better view and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you remember me speaking to you about the exotic? That's one right there. You see the vine.
The potato vine.
Yeah, that's a potato vine right there. Yeah.
Okay.
So with the amount of shore, I don't see it doesn't look like there's a ton of it in here or anything, but that's going to come into play on your inspections.
Right. So potentially, I guess what we're looking at there, wherever your deck is on the other side of the vegetation, potentially we'd be only a foot or two above that in terms of a line of sight from that elevation.
Right.
Well, then that would open up being able to view from upstairs.
Oh, sure.
He was concerned that he wasn't going to get a view from that deck up there, but if we can get rid of a lot of this and trim it down, it's going to have a hell of a high view.
Absolutely, and there's a bunch of sea grape in there and stuff like that, and there's no restriction on that.
Yeah.
Cut it, remove it, whatever you want to do.
I got a lot of those at my house.
It's nice because you can really leave some of this too, so that you have some privacy in areas and stuff.
Right. Now, with the pool over there, they may just want to leave that just the way it is for privacy.
Sure, yeah.
Anything else about it, Frank, that I should make them aware of?
Yeah, I wouldn't make any, structural repairs or anything here. It's really solid as can be. It's a great dock.
Possibly never used.
I'd say almost positively that it's not been used.
So we could press the button over there if we had juice to it, and they would work.
Exactly. And it probably needs to be greased up, some things like that, but that thing should just work great.
Good. Really
good.
Very few barnacles on the cross members, so I guess that represented doesn't been used very much?
Yeah, they must have left it down a little too low at some point, so the tidal zone was coming up on it, and so it got a little bit of barnacles on it. But just looking at the cables and the pulleys, and I don't really see any indention on the carpet on the top of it either.
Yeah.
They may have let someone, use it once in a while, but I don't think very regularly, that's for sure.
Good. Talk to me about the tidal range here. We were talking about 2 feet.
I'd say probably 3 at least in here. You can see where it's relatively low tide now, and then you can see the tops of where those piling wrap, where the growth is on them.
Yep.
That's probably about your high tide mark there, and it'll go a little lower than it is right now.
Well, I can't get inside right now, but at least I can do some videos of what I'm seeing here. It's a lovely downstairs area. There's the walkway up. Here's the pool area. Frank was saying we need 25 feet to get out to the next post should we continue down this way from the dock. Dock's right over there. We have plenty of room to add another dock right there, and that's what Frank recommends. And there's your plot edge right there, right next to propane tank. Oh, this is a slide. Funny. Here's a walk around. There's the dock there. So you can imagine trimming this all the way back to just below where my camera line is right now. This is as far as we're getting right now, guys. I'm going to try to get inside, but I'm not sure.